Alright guys, in this video I want to talk to you about offsetting columns. Now what offsetting columns means is taking a column and shifting it over a certain amount. So you don't always have to have your columns butted right up against each other. You can use offsetting if you want to add a little bit more space, or just shift the column left or right, or do whatever. So how do we do that? Well, in this example what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a layout with two columns. And let's say that I'm going to have a column on the left, like the left menu, and then my main content on the right. I don't want it butted up right up against that left menu. I want it shifted over a little bit, maybe one column, and then that's when my main content begins. So if you guys want to know how to do that, well, here you go. Alright, so inside my row, which I already have, I'm going to make a div, and the first one is just going to be normal, since this is my left column. So I'm just going to say medium 1, looks good, and of course this is columns. And I also made this other real quick CSS file since I was getting kind of tired of typing out inline styles all the time. So this is just my own, and this is just going to give a background color. So these are all just different background colors. Again, nothing to do with foundation, this is just me being lazy, but this is what we have so far. What the F is this crap? Get the F out of here, dude. Jeez. Accidentally must have hit something with my sausage fingers. Alright, so right now we have, let me just put left menu, and it's one column wide. Alright, so now we want to have our main content on the right. So I'm going to make another div, and this class is going to be medium, and instead of taking up the rest of the area, which would be 11, what we're going to do is we're going to set this equal to 10. Now remember the rule, we always need to take up 12 columns. So the reason that I have 10 right now is because we're going to shift this over by 1. How do we do that? Well, if we do medium offset 1, what this is going to do is it's going to take this column, which is 10 wide, shift it over by 1, and plop it in the new location. So it would essentially be column number 3 where it's going to start. So I'm going to name this BG2 to give it a different background color, and I'll say right content. So let's look at what's going on, then you can easily see what's up. So this is our first column, which is 1 wide on the left. Now instead of this one on the right butted up right against here, what we said is we're going to shift it over 1, and then we're going to make our right content. Now one other thing that you need to pay close attention to is that whenever you shift a column or offset it, you need to include that in your column total. So this is only 10 wide, but since we offset it by 1, it took up another one. So this actually counts as 11. So as long as you add up all your numbers, medium offset plus medium, and they all add up to 12, you're going to be golden. So you can actually, you can have this as 2. So maybe we want our left menu to be 2 wide, and we can shift this over by 8, and we would add 2 right here. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we didn't break anything. So make sure that they always add up to 12. Simple enough. So what I want to do now is teach you guys about block grids. Now block grids are awesome whenever you have a layout and every column is an equal width. So whenever you have a layout that's like 2 on the left and 10 on the right, this isn't going to work. But if you ever have like when you go look at someone's profile pictures and every single picture is the same width and the same height and all of the columns are equal, well, this would be an example of when you can use block grids to make things really easy. So inside your row, let's say that we want to have 3 items per row all the time. So I'm going to make an unordered list, and for this class I am going to set this equal to medium block grid 3. Now the number you put right here is saying how many items, in this case how many pictures, do you want to appear in your rows. So whenever we start adding our images, there's always going to be 3 of them for each row. So image, source, and let me copy this a bunch of times so you guys can see what up. So let me just make 8. Why not? So we have 8 images here. And since we have a block grid layout of 3, watch what happens. So this says that each of these items, even though we didn't specify each single one manually, since we stuck them all inside a block grid of 3, they're each going to take up an equal amount, 3 per row. Alright, you know what? These images are looking a little bit, jumbo. I actually want to have 5 images per row. So I can just change this to 5, and my entire layout is going to update like that. Pretty awesome, eh? And you can actually, I'll show you guys another cool trick. So maybe you wanted to have this on a desktop, but on phones, look at it on a phone in smaller devices. I mean, things are getting kind of weird looking, and then it switches to that unexpectedly. So let's say that maybe on small devices, not small, then we want to have, I don't know, like 3. Something like that. So this would be medium and large. Then on smaller, if I shrink it down to small, it pops over to 3. Pretty sweet, eh? So you might want to do that, something like 3, 5, and 10. Who knows, whatever, but that is a block grid. It's pretty much a really not a lazy way, really convenient way that you can say the items I'm going to put in here, make all of the columns even, and this is how many items I want to have on each row.